What's up, folks? How's it going? See, changed up the shirt or the coat color. I was going to get in a couple videos today. That didn't happen. Full of meetings, full of stuff unanticipated. So we're only going to get one in, but we're going to go a different direction than we normally do. Check out this place. That's pretty cool. But over here, where is it? See it? Right there? These little bit of lights right here. That's a balcony slash swimming pool slash bar or whatever I was talking about a while ago. Pretty cool. Anyways, back in East Lansing, right along Michigan Avenue here. I'm gonna go around, ride, see what we can come up with. Feeling pretty good lately. There's not a whole lot I really feel like I want to talk about. But yeah, let's hop on. Let's find something to talk about, and let's go. All right, let's go. Let's talk about patience. Today, I had, and in no way am I dissing anybody that I'm mentioning in this video, and I won't mention names. Protect the guilty. Or is it something about innocence? I don't know. Anyways, one of the meetings I was supposed to have this morning, like early this morning, you know, nothing bad happened, just kind of miscommunication on when we were going to meet, and that's okay. I will own that. I should have sent a follow-up message. And the funny thing is I actually thought about that too last night, thinking I should just confirm that we have our meeting this morning. I didn't do it. My bad. Anyways, like I said, the meeting I was supposed to have this morning didn't happen. That's okay. Not a problem at all. It ended up happening just way later than it was supposed to. But when you're faced with those kinds of situations, reach out to somebody and be like, shoot, I'm so sorry, not on my calendar. It happens, right? We all got busy lives. Sometimes it's hard to fit everything in. Patience. I guess, you know, let's talk about controlling your responses. You can't always control the things that happen to you, but you can control your response, which is really, when you think about it, more of a superpower and more of a strength and a good thing than being able to control everything around you. Because if you control everything around you, but you can't control yourself, is that really any amount of strength? Let's go. So, that meeting this morning, you know, I came in, I didn't work from home today. I didn't do any business work today, actually, and it's already evening. It's rush hour right now. I had a lot of stuff I was going to do today. I had a couple meetings that I was going to do this morning, and then it's going to be all work, all afternoon and evening. So that's a moment, you know, it's frustrating. Is it that big of a deal? No, not really. It's, you know what? It's only it's a hour long drive in. Just had a couple things that I was going to be doing. Ultimately, not a big deal though. Who cares, right? Still had another reason to be out here. So we handle it, we manage it. Not a problem. The person asked if I could actually do a meeting later in the day. And that's where the benefit of controlling your response comes in. Because some people, believe it or not, and we all know somebody who would 100% do this, would be up in arms and angry and send a snotty response, do whatever, right? Not a good response, not a good look. Why would anyone want to be around you, right? Instead of saying, hey man, you know, 100% no problem. Happens. You know, not a big deal. I'm sure there'll be a time eventually where I miss a meeting too. Not a problem. So it turned into, later on in the afternoon, that meeting just got rescheduled. And that meeting lasted longer than it would have this morning. It was much more fruitful than it would have been this morning. That would not have happened if I didn't have the ability to control my response to people. Could I control that meeting didn't happen? Well, arguably, if we go back to the extreme ownership concept, then yeah, in a way it is. You know, I could have sent another message confirming the time of the meeting. I could have sent another message discussing, just confirming. That's my fault. I own that. No problem. And the funny thing is, the other person I met with, the person the meeting was with, also adheres to a similar principle and was like, no, it's my fault. I didn't send a message confirming. That's on me. You see, who cares? We both took responsibility. No one put blame. Next time we just send confirmation messages. Not a big deal. Not a big deal in the slightest. Okay, so yeah, sure. I could have sat there and been like, dang it, now I got a couple hours before my next meeting, didn't bring my laptop, can't edit a video, can't write a blog post, can't send out an email, can't do any work. Just kind of sitting here. I got my phone. Oh well. But instead of being snotty, instead of making a shitty remark that we all have the ability to do, we all have the control of whether or not we want to behave in that manner. Instead of doing that, I just said, yeah, man, no problem. Let's reschedule for later today. That meeting ended up being a phenomenal meeting. Again, way more productive than it ever would have been if I would have handled that shitty. And I look back on scenarios in my life where I could have 100% handled something in a much better manner. And I didn't. And then I'm stuck with the shitty response that I did, and I didn't open up the doors. Now, this isn't to sit here and say that you need, like, somebody screws you over, just accept it. And I'm not saying in any way that the person who had the meeting with me today screwed me over. Not at all. No, it was just simple calendar mistake. But how often do we let our frustration get a hold of us, control our responses, and then we create a negative experience, a negative space, closed doors that we regret closing. That's a real problem that we have. So the next time you find yourself in a situation that maybe is frustrating, maybe somebody angered you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel anger, not saying that you shouldn't feel sadness. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel emotion. But the question is, will you make the decision and put in the effort and strengthen your ability to control your emotions, or will you let your emotions control you? Emotions are fleeting, emotions are temporary, they don't last long. A couple minutes, then it becomes a mood, right? What kind of mood are you in? But if you can't control your emotions, man, you're not sitting in a good place.
Wait.
So let's think about it in like perspective of work, though, the controlling your emotions. Sometimes we have to work with real assholes. Sometimes we have to work with really incompetent people. Sometimes we have to work with people that just really on our shit list, not people that we have any respect for. And sometimes those people will send you an email or call you or send you a text or go into your office, whatever it may be, and just say or do something that really just, honestly, kind of just pisses you off. That's okay to feel that. It's okay to be like, oh my goodness. It's okay to feel that frustration. Nothing wrong with that. However, you do get to control your response. So let's say that person sends you an email and they're kind of snarky and they say something snotty, and it just really grinds your gears. You have a choice in that moment of, are you going to let that email ruin your day? Are you going to let that emotion of anger and frustration put you in a negative mood for a period of time? Are you going to let your anger get a hold of you and reply to that message and say something that could get you in trouble, or CC all sorts of people and then you look like the petty one? Do you stoop down to their level, or do you take the high road, take the smart road, and play your cards well? That is a good question to ask yourself, and something you need to think. And the crazy thing is, it's your choice. No one else's choice on how you handle that. It's yours. So how do you want to respond? Maybe, okay, let's get really into the weeds on this one. Let's say you're dating somebody and you find out that they cheated on you. That's a hard thing. You're gonna feel a lot of emotions. I know, trust me, been there. You're gonna feel a lot of emotions, from anger to betrayal to disappointment to sadness to, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel a lot, and you're gonna feel a lot all at once. You're gonna feel a lot for a prolonged period of time. Again, controlling your responses doesn't have anything to do with feeling the emotion and acknowledging the emotion. It's just your decision of, are you gonna let that emotion dictate you, or are you going to dictate that emotion? What action will you take? And that's the important thing to ask yourself, the important thing to wonder. You could sit there and lash out and just lose your shit and just post it all over social media and be that trashy person who's airing their dirty laundry all over the internet. Which, I hope that's not what I do on this channel. I have zero intention of airing any dirty laundry. That's why I don't name names. I just talk about things. But your choice here, when you face something as big as, well, being cheated on, that's a big one. You know, are you going to choose that action, that road that will put you into this even worse place? Or are you going to acknowledge the emotions that you're feeling, acknowledge the pain, the hurt, the disgust, the betrayal, acknowledging all of that, accepting all of that you are feeling that, and saying, I'm not going to let these emotions make decisions for me. I'm going to control these emotions. I'm going to acknowledge them. I'm going to allow myself to feel them. But I'm only allowing myself to control my actions, not my emotions. Your decision, your choice in those matters are what define you ultimately. You don't always have to be calm, cool, and collected. It might appear that way on the outside because we're so used to people just losing their shit and letting their emotions dictate them and yelling and ranting and raving and I hate that. We see that a lot. And if you're not allowing yourself to go down that road, it will appear as if you're calm, cool, and collected, and you might not be. All you're doing is you're making your decision that I'm not going to let my emotions dictate me. I am going to dictate my emotions. And by controlling your emotions and thinking strategically, and again, I'm not sitting here saying in the slightest that you should ignore your emotions and ignore your feelings, ignore and just pretend like that they don't exist. I'm not saying that at all. Not at all. That's unhealthy to do. That's extremely unhealthy. But taking that time and that energy and learning to harness that and then think strategically about things instead of going with that visceral reaction that you had right away gives you a lot more options and ultimately a better life. Let's say somebody misses a meeting. That frustration that you may feel, but again, I didn't really feel frustrated. I was just like, okay, whatever, not a big deal. But that also comes from a lot of time of trying to control my emotions and practicing and choosing how you want to respond rather than allowing your just, what's the word I'm looking for here? Instead of allowing your primal, natural, whatever it may be, just instead of allowing that. So, I like your dog. Instead of allowing that to control you, you have so many more options. If you respond to that person, you're missing meetings, can't stand you, whatever. It's not like I drove out here for anything else, which again, I'm not saying that about my meeting, because I'm just using that as an example because, well, that's the thing on my mind. If you choose to handle it that way, well, that person's probably not going to want to reschedule with you. If that's business, then, well, you just might have lost out on a really good client. Or just had one mistake. You could have lost out on that, and that could really suck. It could be a lot of money. It could be a friendship. It could be a relationship. Think about that with a date. Now, I understand, too. Like, someone's late for a date. It's kind of annoying. It's like, you have to ask, you do ask yourself, well, do they really care? Like, what kind of person are they? But if you don't allow yourself to take that time to find that out, and you just go with they suck, they're horrible. You just missed out. Big time. Big time. And just because you have reacted to something once and you were correct, that doesn't mean that you're right all the time. And that the next time you're also going to be right. That's not what that means at all. Far from it, actually. Very far from it. Just because one time you were frustrated because a date didn't show up on time, and you were like, whatever, we don't even need to go on a date, and then it turns out, oh wow, that person was kind of a crappy person. They were 10 minutes late, and look at that, lo and behold, they were a shitty person. Just because that was true that one time doesn't mean that you're right about that every time. So I'm advocating that each of us take some time to try to understand our emotions and why we're feeling the things that we're feeling, and not let those emotions dictate you. You might not always be able to choose the way you feel about something. Probably never going to be able to choose to be happy if you got cheated on. That's probably not something you're ever going to have. But you can choose how to react. Thank you. So I encourage every single one of us to think about that as we go forth today, as we go forth tomorrow and the future. And at first it's hard. It's not perfect. You'll never be perfect at it. I still mess it up all the time. But you'll run into that, and that's okay. That is okay. Anyways, that's all for today, folks. Just encourage all of you to think about that. If you found this video useful, give it a like, comment, subscribe, share it with somebody who you think could use it, and let me know how you're doing down in the comments below. But until next time, until the next video, have a great day.